People who aren't aware of the perpetual debt cycle might be stuck in this dangerous trap forever. It's so easy to fall further and further into this continuous cycle of making payments. Sending payment after payment to the bank for various purchases each month can make it nearly impossible to become debt-free or invest for your future. Those who are aware of this cycle and have the dedication to avoid it entirely will find it incredibly easy and become financially free, even if they don't have a high income. Debt can even be used to your advantage, making it easy to create great wealth. Take a look at the never-ending debt cycle that seemingly everyone falls victim to, and find out how you can easily become incredibly wealthy by taking advantage of this trap. The cycle of never-ending debt begins in high school for many young adults. College can certainly be a great asset that can provide many opportunities later in life, such as a better job and higher pay, but overspending on a degree can be the beginning of what goes on to be many years of debt repayment that snowballs. Too often, students choose to attend a college that's simply way out of their budget, only for the prestige and status. Or they select a field of study that doesn't align with what they'd like to do upon graduation. Either they lose interest in the subject, or find that they don't like what the job entails, and then decide to pursue a career in a completely different field. This can create a large problem, as these recent graduates find themselves having to repay their student loans through a lower-paying job that isn't directly related to their degree. Upon graduation from college or even high school, replacing that beat-up hand-me-down car becomes a priority. After all, you need a reliable vehicle to get back and forth to work, and you need it to look good while doing so. The temptation is real when it comes to financing a new car for these individuals while relying on an entry-level income, and they likely have little to no cash saved up. It could take years to save enough cash for the purchase, so why not just take out a car loan and you could be driving a brand new car right away? The average new car payment in the United States is between $650 and $700 per month, but what's the problem if you can afford those monthly payments? When you're in the showroom staring at that new car with a salesman guaranteeing you'll be driving away in your new vehicle that day, it's extremely tempting, but it makes what was already a slippery slope even more slippery. Once your method of transportation has been upgraded, it's probably time to start thinking about moving out of your apartment or your parents' house and making a leap into home ownership. A mortgage could actually be cheaper than rent, and you'll be paying a loan down instead of your landlord's, with first-time homebuyer programs that only require 3% down. Home ownership isn't out of reach. Don't forget to account for all major expenses that come along with it, such as increasing taxes, insurance, heating and cooling, and especially maintenance, which is higher than one might think. Keeping reserves for emergency repairs and major costs such as a new roof is a good idea. Most people overlook this part, resulting in a housing expense larger than their budget can realistically handle. A few years after becoming a homeowner, you might decide it's time to start a family. Perhaps this means trading your car in for something that's safe and reliable for your new family, such as a large SUV. It should definitely be brand new with every available safety feature. Your spouse is going to need one too, so you might as well get them both at once. They're expensive, but your income is rising slightly as you gain more experience in the workforce. You're just starting a family, so you decide that the thought of saving for retirement should remain in the distant future. The family has expanded, and the house you bought that allowed you to move out of your apartment has started to feel cramped. Putting your first home on the market as you begin to search for a larger one only makes sense, right? You need a bedroom for each kid, as well as room for guests when they come to stay the weekend. A bonus living space in the basement or upstairs is necessary too, as it will allow everyone to stretch out. A garage is also a must-have for the family cars and storage, and a large backyard would be nice too. All this extra square footage will be a lot more to heat, cool, and maintain than your previous home, but the mortgage payment won't be that much more when you use the equity from your old house as a down payment. Even though these larger costs won't leave any more room in your budget for investing in compounding assets, the house is an investment in a way. The house you purchased has plenty of room for the family, but it's a little boring on the weekends and during the summer. Just imagine how much fun you could have with an RV, a boat, or even both. You could spend spare time camping and traveling and having a great time with the family. There's long-term financing available for the camper and the boat, so the payments are more than reasonable. Besides, you can't put a price on the memories you're going to make. The family is going to have a great time, but you deserve a reward for yourself too. You're not getting any younger. How about a convertible? Now that the kids are deciding where to go to college and what to study, it's a good time to think about retirement. With the house quieting down, you start to think about the future. You don't want to work forever, but instead spend time traveling and making the most of your golden years. The only problem is that you don't have much saved. You went to work day after day, week after week, year after year, only to spend it all on bills, and now you have nothing saved for retirement. Where did all the money go? It's not like you threw the money out the window, gambling and spending recklessly. So how did you get to this point? This is what's known as the debt cycle, as it's a slippery slope that will send you down the wrong road financially. How can you avoid this trap of getting stuck in the never-ending cycle of monthly payments? Living frugally in the beginning makes it possible to reverse a cycle so it can begin to work in your favor. For example, working for a few years out of high school in order to afford higher education and attending a less expensive institution is one way to begin. This will help you graduate debt-free, or with small loans instead of a mountain of debt. Carefully consider which career path you'd like to pursue, and pay special attention to jobs with high earnings potential in relation to the training and education required. There are many careers that don't require a college degree at all, and they pay quite well. Next, instead of upgrading your lifestyle using debt and spending money that you don't have, earn the money first. Driving an older car, living with roommates for a longer time, and saving a significant down payment on your first home is ideal. As your family expands, do not feel obligated to upgrade every item you have, including your vehicles and your home. This keeps your monthly obligations much lower, meaning you're not financially strapped and you can begin investing as soon as possible. Being frugal early in life and prioritizing investing means instead of waking up as your kids head off to college and realizing you're nowhere close to being able to retire, you'll be well poised financially with healthy investment portfolios. Getting on the right path early in life will make it much easier to stay on the right path. Debt isn't all bad, but the reality is that it can be an excellent wealth-building tool when used wisely. The rich actually use debt more than you would think, but instead of borrowing money on items that go down in value or cost them money every month, like cars, toys, and unnecessarily large homes, they use it to buy investments. The most basic example of this is financing a rental property. Avoiding the never-ending debt cycle boils down to living below your means and not spending what you don't have. Debt can be an amazing tool with great benefits, but it can also be a huge problem when not used properly. It's incredibly easy to take out one loan after another. Once you get used to making the payments every month, adding one more to the mix doesn't seem like a big deal. Then you add another, and they multiply and become increasingly large. Don't fall victim to the never-ending cycle of debt, which only results in your pockets being drained with no forward progress. Make it a habit early on to keep debts to a minimum, only buy things you have the cash to pay for, and prioritize investing and appreciating assets that will compound and reward you many times over.